welcome here. Where you going to? Where you coming from? You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Where you going to? Where you coming from? You are welcome here. 'Cause it's a house of love, a house of hope and dreams. It's a house of love. And you are welcome here 'cause it's a house of love, a house of hope and dreams. It's a house of love. You are welcome here. Y ahora en español. Bienvenido aquí, que me vayas tú, que vengas hoy. Bienvenido aquí, bienvenido aquí, que vayas tú, que vengas hoy. Bienvenido aquí a este lugar de amor, que sueños e ilusión, a este lugar de amor. Bienvenido aquí, si es un lugar de amor, que sueños e ilusión, a este lugar de amor. Bienvenido aquí.
Good morning. Happy New Year. Welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community of diverse beliefs and experiences, nurturing the liberal religious spirit and united by our desire to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever life's journey, you are welcome here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, once or twice a year, or are with us this morning for the first time, we are glad that you are here. What a great way to start the new year, all together on Sunday. I'm Jessica Schultz, the worship associate. Our service is led today by our minister, Reverend Sharon Wylie. Our worship musician this morning is John Schultz, and our song leader is David Peel. Today we are lucky to have some fantastic musicians joining us, Susan Spoto, Paul Delaney, and Jake Diock. Jake, as you know, is also our sound and video engineer. Our greeters are Donna Folberg and Ron Petzold. Welcome to our Sunday worship service. Welcome to all of you here in the chapel, and welcome to all of you who are joining us online. For those of us in the chapel, if you are sitting in a row that's not full, please consider moving towards the walls to leave room for the congregants who might be arriving just a little late. I see one coming. We don't want it to be hard to find seats in our chapel. As a reminder, please feel free to wear masks or step outside as needed for your comfort. You can hear what's happening inside while you are outside on the courtyard. We are always happy to welcome newcomers. If you're new, you can learn about our groups and activities through our weekly email update called the e-news and our monthly newsletter. Online guests will receive an invitation to join the list after the service. If you're an in-person guest and you haven't already, please share your email before you leave today. It's the best way to stay connected with what's happening at Chalice. And now, let's take a breath together. As we settle our souls into worship, we acknowledge Indigenous peoples with these words from Robin Wall Kimmerer, a citizen of the Potawatomi Nation and the author of Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants. In the Western tradition, there is a recognized hierarchy of beings with, of course, the human beings on top. The pinnacle of evolution, the darling of creation, and the plants at the bottom. But in native ways of knowing, human people are often referred to as the younger brothers of creation. We say that humans have the least experience with how to live and thus the most to learn. We must look to our teachers among the other species for guidance. Their wisdom is apparent in the way that they live. They teach us by example. They've been on the earth far longer than we have been and have had time to figure things out. And now we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. I'd like to invite Cindy Carter forward to light our chalice this morning. Our chalice lighting words come from Anastasia Baroche, a worship associate at Southwest Unitarian Universalist Church in Northeast Ohio. As we light this flame of hope, may our congregation bring a kaleidoscope of souls and people. In the presence of this flame, in me, in you, in us, is it an invitation to sit at the table? May we tend our soul fire through these challenging and trying times to open the hearts and minds of all who enter our doors.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Reeds drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. Rivers running free, you know how I feel. Blossoms in the trees, oh, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Stars when you shine, you know what I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, 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 freedom is mine. Oh, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and oh, I'm feeling good. Stars when you shine, you know what I feel. Center the pine, you know how I feel. Whoa, 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 freedom is mine. Oh, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good.
I love that. The words of our call to worship. This was a difficult week again. This is a difficult time still. The world full of chaos and conflict still. Turmoil abounds again. Still, like always. Like always, we gather together each week, sheltered against the storm, sheltered together against storms that have been raging for decades, for millennia. Each wounded soul is welcome here, each broken heart, each weary spirit. Together we take shelter and sing and cry, mourn and rejoice, hopeful that our shared healing here will in turn help heal a hurting world. Let us worship together.
You're invited to rise in body or spirit as able to join in singing the hymn of the month. This is a new one this month, being the first Sunday of the service, and the band here is going to play it through once all the way through, and then we'll join them.
When the world gives up each other, compassion as our own, and will be known by our love. Will be known by our love. Will be known by our love. Will be known by our
Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by sharing and honoring our joys and sorrows. Here in the chapel, you are welcome to write your joy or sorrow onto a blue candle card, which will be collected from you. Online, please write your joy or sorrow, including your name, into the chat box. These joys and sorrows will be spoken out loud, and then we will remove this part of the service from the recording that goes onto our YouTube channel. So this sharing won't be publicly available online. If you would like to send Reverend Sharon a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, or to make a prayer request, please email her. Her email address will be on the screen in just a moment. Please enjoy some music while you write down what you'd like to share so that in sharing, your burden is lessened and your joy is multiplied.
Well, we'll light our first candle of sorrow for the people of Venezuela. All right, we will light a final pillar candle for all the joys and sorrows in the rooms that may go unshared and unspoken or mispronounced from the pulpit. All these too are held in the love and support of our community. Now I'd like to invite the children and anyone else who'd like to come forward for the story. Our story is called Good People Everywhere, written by Linnea Gillen and illustrated by Christina Swarner. Today, in neighborhoods all over the world, millions and millions of people are doing very good things. Today, carpenters are building fences and houses and repairing homes that have been damaged by storms. Today, moms and dads are cooking dinners for their families, and cooks are working in kitchens, making meals for people who don't have homes. Doctors and midwives are delivering babies and gently passing them into the eager arms of their parents. Teachers are teaching math, spelling, and reading skills. Musicians are opening their hearts and playing beautiful music. And dancers are leaping across dance floors, practicing performances that will someday bring joy to their friends, their families, and their communities. Today, people are planting seeds, picking fruits and vegetables, and driving them to grocery stores all around the world so you can have a ripe, juicy orange in your lunch. Today, a child is trying her very best to do well on her science test. And a teenage boy is helping a young child who is sad and lonely. Today, a first grade boy is helping a friend who has a skinned knee. And a big sister is holding her baby brother while her mother runs across the street to help a neighbor. Today, millions and millions of people will do very good things. And so will you. I wonder what you will do.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
This poem comes from the contemporary American poet Maggie Smith. It is titled Good Bones. Life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine in 1,000 delicious, ill-advised ways. 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways I'll keep from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, And that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there is a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broken, bagged, sunk in a lake. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible, and for every kind stranger, there is one who would break you, though I keep this from my children. I'm trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking you through a real hellhole chirps on about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful. I titled this sermon weeks ago, Making Sense of the World, but my note about it to myself said, How to Live in a Dumpster Fire. That was before yesterday. So that's my topic for this morning. My more usual shorthand for describing the past 10 years is these tumultuous times. You've probably heard me say that a lot. The rise of Trump and authoritarianism and the pandemic and the alarming fragility of our democracy. These tumultuous times. Our distress over living through these tumultuous times can make us lose sight of the profound social change of the past 20 years. Same-sex marriage is now legal. When I was in college, I thought that would never happen in my lifetime. But it has. Trans people have gained visibility, legal rights, and even protections that were unimaginable just a generation ago. Many trans people elected to public office, which is not something that seemed possible some time ago. The Black Lives Matter movement has brought national attention to the violence and unequal treatment that people of color experience within our legal system. We've had our first Black president and our first female vice president, who is also our first Black vice president. At the same time, these advances have been met with resistance, political polarization, cultural anxiety, and renewed efforts to limit voting rights and undermine social progress. While this pattern is familiar in history, the interplay of reform and backlash, it feels sharper and more painful to be living through it, not just reading about it in a book. It might be reassuring to remember that throughout US history, the arc of social change has almost never been linear. Gains in rights, opportunities, and protections have often been followed by periods of retrenchment and opposition. The expansion of voting rights in the early 19th century, for example, was limited initially to white men you didn't have to be a property owner to vote. That was sort of the first advancement. While Native Americans were forcibly removed and Black Americans remained enslaved. The abolition of slavery after the Civil War was followed almost immediately by the rise of Jim Crow laws, which effectively restricted the rights of Black Americans for decades. The labor and industrial reforms of the early 20th century, the New Deal protections of the 1930s, and the civil rights and feminist movements of the mid-20th century were all met with pushback, often in the form of legislation, violence, and social regression. Progress has always been uneven and contingent, building gradually despite resistance, not without it. What makes the present moment distinct is the speed and intensity with which these forces, progress and backlash, interact. Social media has transformed the way we perceive conflict and progress. Whereas past generations experienced social tension in ways that were geographically or temporally bounded, you can think back to, a couple decades ago, and news about Venezuela would have been visible to people paying close attention, but many people wouldn't have been getting that news until at least the next day and sort of reading about it in the paper. So, time restricted. Today, every disagreement, protest, and legislative fight is visible instantaneously to millions and millions of people. Algorithms amplify content that provokes strong emotion, particularly anger and fear, which can make political and social conflicts feel more extreme than they might actually be. Surely the rise of social media has contributed to the first and now second elections of Trump as president. His rise to power can be understood as part of a recurring backlash to social progress, a backlash that feels overwhelming to those of us working for progressive change. Even as these forces feel unprecedented, history reminds us that societies have endured profound social upheaval before. We can and will get through this with effort and with care for one another. As we know too well, living through tumultuous times is challenging. It is natural to feel anxious, fatigued, and overwhelmed. But there are some ways to navigate or mitigate, maybe, these pressures thoughtfully. And I have 4 hopeful, helpful, I hope, reminders for you for living in tumultuous times. I'll just say in advance, these are all things you know. I feel like part of the work, and I'll talk about that in just a few minutes, but part of the work is how do we keep before us hopeful thoughts, grounding thoughts, centering thoughts. But first, these reminders. So first, history does not repeat itself exactly, but it does provide context. Recognizing the patterns of progress and backlash allows us to see that the intensity of our present moment, while real, is part of a longer story. Social movements provoke resistance. Reform generates fear. And yet, over generations, gains tend to accumulate. Second, we can focus on what is within our control. While the course of history is shaped by countless forces, our individual and collective action does matter. Voting, community involvement, volunteering, and thoughtful civic engagement all contribute to shaping society in meaningful ways. You may not always feel like you see your actions having an impact on what happens at the legislative level right away, but we have a great impact on each other and people around us. When people who aren't paying attention see people protesting and hear about people protesting, it raises their awareness about what's happening, encourages them to pay more attention. Equally important is the deliberate management of our attention. Taking breaks from news cycles and online debates is not avoidance, but a form of self-preservation that preserves the capacity for sustainable engagement. We have to take care of ourselves. Third, emotional fatigue is a normal response. I go through this over and over again. Why am I so tired? Oh yeah, the world's terrible. Like a week later, why am I so tired all the time? Oh yeah, everything's terrible. Constant exposure to conflict and uncertainty, particularly through social media, is taxing. Anger, frustration, and anxiety are not signs of weakness. They are evidence of engagement and care, and we are living through so much. I realized last week that seeing these headlines about measles was really bringing up in me fear of pandemic and kind of reliving some of pandemic times. We've been through a lot, and there's a lot more that can and likely will happen. So recognizing these feelings allows us to attend to our mental and emotional health, giving ourselves the space to process rather than become overwhelmed. And fourth, it is also okay to experience happiness, laughter, and joy. Not just okay, but necessary. We feel these things in spite of what is happening in our country, not because of it. We have to sustain ourselves in order to be strong enough for the things that we need to do: protesting, voting, keeping up with the news. So I hope that our worship and other gatherings we offer here at Chalice often bring joy into your lives. We heard so many people naming joys from the holidays of being with family. Like, we have to embrace those fully. As we know, this is a long haul struggle that we're in, and we have to take care of ourselves for this long haul work. So those are my 4 reminders. History shows patterns of progress followed by backlash. It is recognizable what is happening. We can focus on what we can control in our world, the actions we can take. Emotional fatigue is to be expected, and it is okay to feel happy when joy comes. It has been part of Unitarian Universalist thinking to imagine that the world was on an upward trajectory of progress and improvement. This was most famously expressed by the Unitarian minister James Freeman Clarke, who wrote in 1886 that one of the 5 points of the new theology of that time was belief in the progress of mankind onward and upward forever. So on the one hand, 140 years is a long time ago to believe that. But on the other hand, 140 years is a long time for us to be shaped by that kind of belief, the belief that the progress of mankind is onward and upward forever. Whether you've ever heard that specific phrase or not, many of us may find upon reflection that we really did believe that society was about progress, about moving forward, and we have been challenged to make sense of this time of regression characterized by so much fear and anger. Yeah, I think those of us, which is, it's a Unitarian part of the ethos of our movement. And so I think we're challenged and wrestled by what's happening in like a different way. One of my own struggles in these tumultuous times has been keeping before myself a perspective on the world that holds both my ideals and the realities of what we see happening around us. This is absolutely not progress onward and upward forever. So it has been helpful to me recently to write for myself a personal worldview statement. I've written a mission statement for myself in the past, and I've written a personal credo, but a personal worldview statement was new to me. I didn't know that's what it was when I was writing it. But since then, I've learned that that's what it can be called. I just wanted to write down my own understanding of how the world works in these tumultuous times and what's my role in it, what's my responsibility. So when I'm feeling overwhelmed and like nothing makes sense, I can read my own thoughts on how the world actually does make sense, painful though it may be at times. I'm going to share what I've written with you, not because I imagine that it will apply to all of us, but because I hope it will inspire you to work on your own personal worldview statement. I expect many of you will hear what I've written and have an immediate response of, oh, no, I don't believe that. I believe this, right? Your own thinking becomes clear when you hear someone else's. And I'm going to read these twice, and they'll be available to you after the service. So I encourage you to just sort of take them in and not worry about trying to remember parts that were interesting to you. So I've been working on this for a couple of weeks and have been refining it like I did it. What I'll eventually do with it may finally be done. Like, here's where it is as of today. It may finally be done. I read it yesterday and thought like, okay, like there's nothing I feel an urge to add or change. But I'm gonna hang it on my wall in my study where I can see it easily. And I have a lot of stuff on my wall. Like, it's so easy for me to lose track of things like encouraging words, loving words, words that center and ground me. And so I'm going to add this there where I can just look up at it easily when I'm struggling. So here's my statement. I live in a society that normalizes and amplifies our human tendencies toward fear, greed, fragmentation, carelessness, and comfortable idleness. I grieve that decency too often feels like a minority practice. People are capable of doing great good, but also capable of inflicting great harm. Recent years are part of a predictable cycle in which progress has triggered fear and backlash. I take this as confirmation that meaningful change is underway. My task is steadiness, not despair, to contribute to continuing progress. I do not need society to be good in order for me to be good. I am grounded in my Unitarian Universalist faith and community, which sustain and strengthen my commitment to integrity, deliberate care, and the refusal of cruelty. I cannot save the world on my own, not because I lack the will, but because no one can. My responsibility is to do my part alongside others, to stay informed, to speak when silence enables harm, and to act where my presence and efforts matter. As I mentioned, I think it's close to being finalized, but of course, I can change it whenever I want. I can put it on the wall and take it down the next day and keep working on it. My purpose in writing it is to ground and center myself when I feel overwhelmed by all that is happening. As I've written it, it answers questions that I struggle with. Why is the world the way it is? Why do people behave so cruelly? Why is all this happening when we were making so much progress? And perhaps most importantly, what is my role in these tumultuous times? How do I cope with my feelings of powerlessness? Yeah, you can just hear, you heard me mention the word decency, so that's something I think about a lot of time, like, where's people's decency? So I put that in there. So it reflects, it's meant to be comforting to me, not everybody. I sort of thought, oh, it'd be a thought exercise to write like a Unitarian Universalist worldview statement, which might, sound very different. So it's going to sound different for each of us. So I'm going to read it one more time. I live in a society that normalizes and amplifies our human tendencies toward fear, greed, fragmentation, carelessness, and comfortable idleness. I grieve that decency too often feels like a minority practice. People are capable of doing great good, but also capable of inflicting great harm. Recent years are part of a predictable cycle in which progress has triggered fear and backlash. I take this as confirmation that meaningful change is underway. My task is steadiness, not despair, to contribute to continuing progress. I do not need society to be good in order for me to be good. I am grounded in my Unitarian Universalist faith and community, which sustain and strengthen my commitment to integrity, deliberate care, and the refusal of cruelty. I cannot save the world on my own, not because I lack the will, but because no one can. My responsibility is to do my part alongside others, to stay informed, to speak when silence enables harm, and to act where my presence and efforts matter. To try to live well in the present moment is to hold these truths simultaneously. We acknowledge the intensity of our social, political, and cultural struggles. We recognize the amplifying effects of technology. We take responsibility for what we can influence. And we preserve the mental and emotional resources necessary to endure and contribute. By doing so, we do not merely survive these times, we participate in shaping the next chapter of history. In that sense, each of us is part of a story so much larger than just ourselves. A story in which progress, backlash, and resilience are intertwined, and in which our actions can tip the balance toward justice, inclusion, and compassion. Again, words from the poet. The world is at least 50% terrible, and that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there is a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broken, bagged, sunk in a lake. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible, and for every kind stranger, there is one who would break you, though I keep this from my children. I am trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking you through a real hellhole chirps on about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.
You're invited to rise and body your spirit as you're able and join us in singing hymn 108.
The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. These are the words of Fred Rogers. All of us at some time or other need help. Whether we're giving or receiving help, each of us has something valuable to bring to the world. That's one of the things that connects us as neighbors. In our own way, each one of us is a giver and a receiver. We encourage you to text your donation to Chalice. If you haven't texted a donation before, Once you text the amount, you'll get a reply with a link to enter your credit card information. If your Sunday donation is meant to be part of your pledge payment, please indicate pledge after the dollar amount. The phone number for text donations will be on the screen in a moment. If you prefer to make an in-person donation of cash or check, there are envelopes and a donation box right up there next to the chapel doors, and you can leave that after the service. Please give generously. Oh my gosh, that was pretty good, you guys. Please join us in dedicating our offering with these words of affirmation. Chalice, you congregation, love is at the center of everything we do.
The words of our prayer come from the Reverend Elizabeth Wynne. Goddess of mercy, ground of all being, Spirit who makes peace out of war, who wanders with refugees and keeps vigil with children at our borders and all borders, holy healer in hospitals and shelters, at schools, in homes, at weddings and in planes. May your love be balm for all the hurt. May your truth be present in offices of power and in the hearts of soldiers and civilians alike. Many times we've thought the arc was bending towards justice. Many times we saw it happen in courtrooms and in streets, in the hearts of people creating their own liberation. Many times we've also doubted. For those of us this morning who doubt, who despair that brokenness and suffering and war may win, remind us of the small mercies, the tiny triumphs. Hope does dwell in this world. Amen, and blessed be.
Please rise in body or spirit as you're able and join us in singing hymn 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
Our closing words come from Gary Kowalski. And now may the blessings of life be upon us and upon this congregation. May the memories we gather here give us hope for the future. May the love we share bring strength and joy to our hearts, and the peace of this community be with us until we meet again. Love and blessings to each of you. You are invited to close our time together by singing the well. And after our hymn, our closing hymn, please return to your seats for one announcement. Oh, two announcements.
Good morning, Chalice. My name is Callie Leaf, for those who don't know me, and I'm currently the lead of the safety and security team. So one of the safety activities that we conduct once a year or so is an evacuation drill. There could be several reasons to evacuate the campus, including a fire, an earthquake, or, unfortunately, too many announcements. Or, unfortunately, an active shooter. We've been assured by our security consultant that the likelihood of an active shooter targeting our campus is low, but as you all know, UU churches and churches in general have been targets in recent years. Today, I want to review what's expected of you when the drill occurs on January 18th, that's 2 weeks from today, at the conclusion of the service. Once the closing song is completed, I'll make an announcement to start the drill. It'll sound something like this. Attention, Chalice, this is a drill. I repeat, this is a drill. Please evacuate the campus and proceed to the corner of Hamilton and Miller. If you're mobility challenged, you may remain on the courtyard. At that point, those of you in the back half of the chapel, maybe from about Andy, where Andy Stout is sitting to the back, will exit through the back door and go along the sidewalk out the main gate and down to the corner of Miller and Hamilton. Those of you that are in the front half would exit out the double doors and go around the building this way to the north and along the sidewalk and out the main gate and down to the corner of Hamilton and Miller. There will be folks that will be guiding you along the way, and the RE leaders in the hub will be escorting the children to the meeting point. So parents, please do not attempt to collect your children until the drill is over. The RE leaders need to keep an accurate count of who is in each class. They have the sign-in sheet, and they're responsible for the children. They will go back to their classrooms, and then you would pick them up the way you normally would. Once the drill is over, everyone's welcome to return to the courtyard for refreshments, and then parents, you can pick your children up as you normally would. If you have any questions or are willing to help, I do need about 3 more people to help. Please see me on the courtyard during coffee hour. Thank you.
So
Many years ago, Richard Courts and I and a number of other people used to go to the Escondido Street Fair and have a booth for Chalice. And, you know, the attendance, I mean, the people didn't really want to come up and talk. So I had always told them, I said, we need to be like the Church of Cake. And I think we would have a lot more people stopping in just to get cake. So that never happened. But what we did finally, I was talking with Sharon sometime last year, and we came up with the idea of cake talks. And we have another cake talk coming up. So we want to invite you to join us this Saturday. It starts at 10:30, and there'll be coffee at the beginning of it and cake after. So you can join us here or on Zoom, and we're going to have a conversation about AI, where it's already showing up in our lives, what questions it raises, how you feel about it, and maybe guide or at least have a discussion about how we should use the technology. No tech is required, just curiosity and, God forbid, opinions. And we hope we'll have a great time talking. So I did ask ChatGPT to give me kind of like a one-liner, and I didn't use most of the things because they kind of come up to the level of dad jokes, not even good dad jokes. They're just not that great. So, but there is one here, if I can find it, which is, come for the cake, stay for the questions. So please, there's an email that went out, RSVP. One, you get to vote on what kind of cake. And also, for those of you who are maybe thinking about doing it online, it actually would be really useful if you're doing it online to make a reservation or to RSVP so that we kind of know how many people to manage online. We actually had a big turnout online last time, so we're trying to accommodate that better. So thanks, everybody.
Okay. Our social hour will begin in a few minutes online and at the same Zoom link and also in person on our courtyard. Those of you who are in person might want to bring your refreshments into the green room and have a visit with our online congregants. Reverend Sharon and I look forward to greeting you at the chapel door after the service to see how the service was meaningful to you. Peace be with you, friends.